Hello, this is a game philosopher, and welcome to my channel again. So today we're going to keep on doing the series on how to argue, and this one, this is actually something that I thought barely anyone would ever uh, mess up on. But when you discuss with people for on different topics of what they think for a certain amount of time, you will sometimes be disappointed with what you see with some people. But this only is a reminder that we still need to go over very, very, very basic stuff. So, talking about the categories. So, a lot of people categorically mess up in their syllogisms. A lot of people say something false when they're looking at someone else's argument, or they might say something false about their own argument, which seems inconsistent because the category itself has not been given enough analysis. So this might be through perhaps giving the wrong classification. Um, for example, there's a lot of things on predicates. So it's say that all animals are men. Now this is not going to be likely because everyone knows that not all animals are men. But you see similar mistakes with other things that are not so obvious that people mess up categorically that they would think that that which is predicated is in the place of that which you know is required to exist in order for something else to be predicated of. Now, genuses too. These are easier because you have different things that differentiate different species, and this is what creates the genus because of the substance. You always have different substances and different accidents and essential qualities. And so what happens is that as a result, you have different genuses that come out of different categories, and so you don't see as much issue when it comes to genuses. But if someone were to say that, uh, in particular, that a person has one eye because they didn't have two eyes, then this would be a issue also because we're going jumping from genuses to quantity. That not all people have one eye. That is actually explained by often some type of injury that gets rid of one eye, which causes the two eyes to become one. But not all men have one eye. So, I mean, whoever says that would, I don't know, cause a lot of confusion because people would be like, that's not right. So, talking now about substance, I think. So, getting back into directly into substance, there are two types of substances I think that are relevant to philosophy. So you have substance and you have suprasubstance. The difference is that suprasubstance is a metaphysical thing. Substance itself can actually be physical. Uh, for the terminology, you can get it in the metaphysics of Aristotle that um, pretty much when you have a suprasubstance, you're dealing with the soul, you're dealing with God, you're dealing with the spiritual realm, and it's all contingent on certain a priori uh, knowledges, which can be argued in a later video. I'm not going to argue that right now. Substance, or what someone is made out of, this is actually a very interesting term anyway. Because I'm not going to talk too much about material substance right now because, well, there's a lot of people who talk about that. But substance itself comes from the Greek word hypostasis, and hypostasis can also mean person. So I might be jumping the gun a little bit, but if you're looking at a substance, person, and their substance, you can't really separate the two because if you have a substance, uh, there's definitely a thing that's there. It may not have a form yet, but it's still a substance. And by the way, form is pretty much what gives shape to the substances, which are deeply metaphysical in nature or physical, by which if we were to look at different systems of thought, especially the Aristotelian system, which is the type of system I really love, uh, what happens is that the form is kind of like a mold. The substance is, of course, the substance, and it comes in and it creates some very beautiful shape that makes us think about things in the sense of how we think of them. So, easy way to explain things is taking a phone. Now, the substance of a phone, from the looks of it, not from the outside, from the inside. I'm not going to go through the inside. So you have a lot of plastic in the phone. You have glass for the little screen. You have electronics on the inside. So sorry to slide by saying I wouldn't go over that. You have the camera, which of course not all phones have cameras, so it wouldn't be an essential quality, but it would be accidental. So here you have it. If these things did not come together, you would not have a phone. In the same way, if people were just nothing more than a blob of substance, of flesh, of skin, so on and so on and so on, or a blob of soul, where there would be no form, then really the substance itself would exist, but it has not been shaped yet. This is why substances are, in many ways, needing a form. Although you can have a substance without a form. So I'll talk about in a later video. Quantity. I've already talked about that. Essentially, it's how many are in the description of a particular individual subject. So that's so simple, I don't even have to explain it. So, quality. So this is a descriptive thing. So I could say the quality of this phone is black. Of course, that would be kind of a lie because if I were to take this little cover off, you can see it's white. If I were to take a book and show a green book, quality of this book is green, or it's just interesting. Now, the relative category is things that are related to the particular individual. Now, this is where you get your accidents a lot of times. So, as a relative quality, we could say that I happen to work a particular job, so I'd be called this category in a job because of the fact that I happen to be working that job, but I will not always be this way. Now, I might also say that a relative would be how things connect as well, because when you look at a relative category, things can be contingent on one another. But I will get to that again in the next video, or next few videos, when I eventually get to talking about interpretation, which I'm going to follow the same model as Aristotle's Organon. I know I've already talked about syllogisms and all, but I'm just going to pretty much do this commentary as a commentary on Aristotle's Organon because it's interesting. Uh, place. So a place would be in Los Angeles, or in a friend's backyard, in forest. So if I'm talking about a tree categorically, I would say that this tree happens to be in a forest, and the time was yesterday. The position was that it was slouching over because it might have had some type of storm that kind of knocked it over a little bit, and shaking its roots and about to eventually knock it out of the ground with the wind and the lightning. The thing that a tree would have, I do not know, so I'm just going to get rid of this tree example and say what I would have if I'm describing myself is I would talk about having my shoes. So I would have my shoes on in this particular thing. So if I'm walking to this tree, I have my shoes on, and of course I'm not examining the tree at this point. But if I were to say this tree had a string attached to it, then you'd have a more clear understanding of what this tree looked like. Now, if I were to explain the string and say it was a red string, it was 2 foot long, it was uh, of a silk type quality or a substance, and it was pulling something that I could see someone tying it to the ground and pulling at the tree, and it would have been a thing that was acting upon the tree. Hmm. Now, how the tree would be affected by that would be bent a little bit as well because the string was pulled to the ground, pulling its little branches to the ground. So you have the substance, quality, quantity, relative, place, time, position, having acted upon, being affected. So there you have it. Those are categories. Now this video might have bored some of you, so don't worry about that. There'll be more entertaining videos in the future. But for now, I'm talking about the more important stuff. So if you don't like it, you can look at my former videos or wait for a new video to come out. But for now, this is the Game Philosopher, and thank you for watching my video. Like, comment, subscribe.